Ladies and gentlemen, would you please make welcome the founder and president of the American Middle East Institute, Simin Curtis.
Okay, can you hear me now? Well, welcome this morning, this beautiful fall morning. Thank you for being here. Thanks to our friends from far away who have come from the Middle East and other parts of our country to be here this morning for our Energy and Water Conference. Very important topics. We have a stellar lineup of panelists you are going to hear from this morning. And I'm looking forward to hearing these discussions. I hope you will formulate some questions when the panels complete their presentation, and there will be an opportunity to ask some questions. I'm delighted to see all of you. I want to say that we could not do this kind of conference without the support of our sponsors, and they're listed on the back of our program and also on the inside back of the program. And our leading sponsor is Mediterranean and Gulf Insurance, MedGulf. And we're very grateful to Lutfi El-Zain, the chairman of MedGulf, who is here and is also a member of our advisory council. And of course, you can see some of our silver sponsors and bronze. We have wonderful companies represented here, and I'm very pleased. We could not mount any of this without them. And this evening, as you know, the culminating speaker will be General Colin Powell. And Lutfi El-Zain, the chairman of MedGulf, is actually going to be flying down to Washington with his plane this afternoon to pick up Colin Powell and bring him back. So hopefully the weather will cooperate and all will go well. I just wanted to say that the reason we do this is to build business, educational, and cultural ties with the countries of the Middle East. And it's more than business, it's also connecting with these people in these cultures and changing the way we think about them and the way they think about us. And there's a great deal of opportunity. These are young populations in the Middle East. There is certainly places, as we all know from the news, of instability. And political upheaval, but there is also a lot of opportunity. There is a striving in these societies to better their lives. The young people want jobs. That's what's going to lead to stability, among other things. But this is one small step. This institute represents one small step to do that kind of thing. And those of you who are participating today, you know, it's very important that we continue these kinds of dialogues. And I wanted to mention, well, I actually wanted to say that the chair of our advisory council is His Excellency Dr. Sallam, who is a heart surgeon, but he was the former health minister of Egypt. And he's going to come up now and say, give you a little bit of an overview of the Middle East and specifically Egypt, his country. And Dr. Sallam has been a tremendous mentor to me. He has really opened my eyes to what are the opportunities out there, what are the challenges, and how our institute can play a role in connecting with the peoples of the Middle East, in building these kinds of business ties that are just so important, the educational exchanges, the training, building this kind of understanding, building these friendships and partnerships. And I personally thank you, Your Excellency, for how you have been such a friend to the Institute and to myself, me personally, in trying to tackle this problem and trying to make our Institute serve these needs. So without further ado, I would like to ask His Excellency Dr. Ismail Sallam, a former minister of Egypt, to please have a few remarks. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think this is...
change from this button. This button, I can get the slides. Where is Jeff? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to be here today, and it's a great honor also to be working in such a noble cause. And I feel all of you who came to this conference carries a lot of meaning for community working and for also global working at the same time. And this is what attracted me to the Middle East Institute. And I felt always in the Middle East Institute that things are just running in the right direction because this is what is needed. And that's what I'm talking about today. And I would like to thank the staff of the Middle East Institute. Simin is a great leader and has done a lot of great work, and also she's supported by great staff. And I would like to thank also the organizers and Jeff, who is taking the brunt of organizing and producing every conference. And it's great to see such setup. I just want to give an idea about Egypt, and I must say I wasn't going to be speaking today until she surprised me, Simin, last night and said, no, you have to say something. So I sat last night and started making some points that I think that will be of interest to you. In Egypt, we had 2 revolutions in a matter of 2 years. The first one was the same like any ordinary people in the world. They're just looking for justice, for democracy, and for also living. And this is number one. They just put living as number one because they felt that the economic strain was too much. But with no changes after the first revolution, can we have, yeah. This is the first revolution, and if you remember, this which I consider part of how genius is these people who were in the square without organization, without the government, without anything. Millions of people came on many of the squares, but they started to be organized. They have a pharmacy, they have a hospital, they initiated it from themselves. And that's why they were able to survive for 37 days in the square, and the standstill resulted in Mubarak resigning from the presidency. But after that, what's happening wasn't satisfying for the people. It is also the people felt that what they worked for didn't get them the targets they wanted for a good life, for democracy, and the new government wasn't really looking after the targets that was given by these people. That's why they started the second revolution, and I always feel that, can we have the next one? I don't know how to change it. Yes, the second revolution is marvelous to think how it happened. And this gives a recipe how to outset any regime in the world so easily, so peacefully. Because the people just start signing papers. Everybody wants to sign a paper that he will share in this. 35 million wanted to share. But it wasn't expected that these people will come out. But it came out that about 30 million or 28 million came out on the same day, on the 30th of June, peacefully. And everybody is carrying a flag and a whistle and a red card. And the red card is like in soccer matches. When you raise the red card, you get the player out. And that was the meaning. They wanted to get the president out. And this was successful in starting a new stage. And also I felt that in Egypt, democracy was lost because if there is any dictator coming back and think he's dictator, people will go in the street and get him out. And this is you know, it's like a fantasy stories, but this is exactly what happened in the second revolution. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. it didn't just happen in Cairo or one place. It happens in all the towns of Egypt. Can we see the next slide? And next slide, please. But unfortunately, we are facing some groups that wanted to, upset the whole of the revolution by terrorism. And that's why change has been remarkably affecting Egypt, but now they are in the process of controlling it. And I would like to talk to you as business people that really has no religion and has no native land. People keep describing them, these are Muslim, these are fanatic. There's no religion for these people. And there is no mainland for them. And I've said this in the Senate in 1990, and this words, I believed in it strongly, that what they are describing, that it is religious movement, is not true. And also I wanted to say that the success of the terrorism comes if he disrupted the normal life, if he frightened everybody, if we don't go to work, if we don't go to schools. That's the way terrorism acts. But if life continue, this will be the biggest failure for terrorism. But terrorism in this day developed new hats because he wanted to go with a new description, trying to get democracy, and this is frightening because sometimes through these new hats they can get support from some countries. And also they're getting these varieties of support can hinder progress in many countries. And that's why there should be a global agenda for fighting terrorism. And I'm saying the agenda we usually are adopting. Next slide, please. And we are always looking that it is a security issue. The police has to deal with it. The army has to deal with it. But it is more than that. If I describe what should be done in the sort of way of the police or the army, this represent 10% to what could be done. But the real fighting comes from the people themselves. If they can continue normal life, normal relation, normal international work, these countries can fight easily the terrorism everywhere. And that's why I feel that security solution with the police, when there was agenda of just intelligence people and all this, is only a small part that can control. We have to maintain normal circumstances in the country. We have to also look in political, social, economic life that can continue. Also, globally, this is the best way to counteract terrorism. Next slide. And I want to say that there is a global responsibilities in fighting terrorism, not only in Egypt, but in all different countries. And till now, we don't have a real agenda or complete agenda for fighting. We keep concentrating on people coming in, people going out, people carrying, people taking out to prison. All these things does not work. We have to have another agenda in which we can ensure that there is part of it is social, part of it, this agenda is also prevention of terrorism, and part of it also is the business work and economic prosperity. I think this is the best way to fight terrorism. And that's why I feel that the Middle Eastern Institute has got something to do in the Middle East regarding this. I feel that the role of the Middle East Institute could be remarkable through you and through the leadership of the Institute in reaching the world and also in promoting security, stability and security. Next slide, please. we always think that the building bridges between two nations, between two countries, is not the matter of treaties and is not for the government. People generally don't like governments, and people generally are not really working according to what the government say. But when initiation of these bridges comes from the communities itself, from the business people, from the cultural people, from the educational people, this is a long-lasting relation that can flourish and can prosper everybody. And that's why I always believe that the best bridges can be built through this, and that's where I feel that the Middle East Institute could have a great role in promoting this. Next slide, please. I'm saying that with the American Institute developing the exceptional leadership in enhancing business and progress, now it is time to get out the result and to get out some of the achievement that they can make for the business people in the Middle East. And this is where they can lead. And I wanted to say that I'm sure we can embark on a bigger initiative for the Middle East in different countries. Next slide. And I must say that Simin has been talking to me that let us have an initiative. Pittsburgh is coming to you and we go to Egypt. And we feel that the next second conference, we could have it there, and we could have a real initiative for the business people to start building the programs. By the way, I have with today two from the Egyptian government, Mr. Fadel Yacoub, who is the commercial attaché, and he's over here, and Mr. Mohammed Rami, he's the Vice Minister of Agriculture, of Irrigation, and his also stand combines the water and the energy, because the Nile have the water and have the energy, and that's why he's now representing Egypt in the conference from this point of view. I wish you a very good meeting, and I hope we will meet next time in Cairo, and I hope also that we will be able to help many of the business people who want to make or who want to reach in the Middle East. Thank you very much.